Hello class, it's Miss Vega. I'm so excited to be with you here today as we continue on the second part of our unit of light and sound by exploring light sources. Last time we were together, we were introduced to our new big question, which is, how does light allow us to see? We learned that light makes things look bright. You need light to see, and when light is blocked, it makes a dark area. As I continued making observations in my home of light and dark areas, I started thinking of this other question, which is, can you make an area that is dark become bright? What do you think? Yeah, I agree. I can think of things like the sun, right? The sun can make a dark area bright, or a ceiling lamp, a flashlight, a lamp. All of these are examples of light sources. Light sources are things that make light. Today we're going to read a book called Can You See in the Dark by Carolyn James, illustrated by Dwayne Bibby. As we read this text, it's important to have our thinking jobs. Our questions are, what is the topic of the text? What are the authors teaching us about it? And what is the author's point of view? Let's get started. Just by looking at the front cover, what do you predict this text will teach us about? Can you see in the dark? Do you need light to see? To find the answer, you need evidence. And the only way to get the evidence you need is to find a place that's completely dark with no light at all. Think of some dark places. Can you see in those places? You can find your way to the bathroom after bedtime without turning on a light. You can see empty seats in a dark movie theater. But are those places completely dark? Is there any light there at all? Was your prediction right? The author is teaching us about evidence. We need evidence in order to be able to answer a question like, can you see in the dark? Which is the title of this text. To find out whether you need light to see, you have to find a place with no light. None, nada, zero, zilch. Think of a movie theater. You walk in after the movie starts. It is hard to see, but you can still find a seat. You can see a little bit. Is there any light in the theater? What do you observe? You may see little light bulbs on the floor next to the seats. Behind you, you can see light coming from the movie projector. Light does not just float around. It has to come from somewhere. A place where light comes from is called a light source. The light bulbs on the floor are a light source. The movie projector is also a light source. What is the author teaching us about this topic so far? Yes, I agree. So the author is teaching us that light doesn't just float around. It has to come from a light source. Okay, let's just look at this picture. Is it completely dark in this picture? Yeah, I don't think so either. Let's see. Even though the movie theater seems dark, there is some light. The theater is not completely dark. You don't have the evidence you need yet. To find out whether you need light to see, you have to find someplace darker to observe. You walk out of the theater, it's a rainy night. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? On the walk home, you notice light from many sources: street lights, car headlights, and the glowing sign at the gas station. You can see, but that is not evidence that you can see in the dark. It is nighttime, but it is not completely dark. So what light sources did you see on these pages? Oh, I see that one too. The car headlights, the street light. Think of a darker place. You can go camping in the middle of the woods where there are no streetlights or headlights. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? Yes. The campfire is a source of light. Your flashlight is a source of light too. When the fire goes out and you turn off the flashlight, it gets much darker. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? Look up in the sky. What do you observe? Up there are thousands of light sources, the stars. Even in the middle of the forest at night, it is not completely dark. You cannot get the evidence you need to answer your question here. Ooh, looking at this page, I can see that it's a bedroom. Where in your bedroom do you think you could find a place that's completely dark? Under your bed, under the covers maybe, a closet? Let's see if he thinks of any of these places too. Back at home, your bedroom may seem completely dark when you turn off the lights. Can you see? Maybe you see a glass of water on the table next to your bed. Maybe you can count the stripes on your bedspread. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? You see some light from a street light and from the neighbor's house coming through the window. Your room is not completely dark after all. Being able to see in your bedroom at night is not really evidence that you can see in the dark. Can you imagine a place that is completely dark with no light from any source? You crawl under your bed. You remember how dark it was under there when you played hide and seek. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? In a few seconds, you start to see things. You can see a sock that has been missing for a month. Does this mean you can see in the dark? You look around, light from the neighbor's house and the street light outside your window is also getting under your bed. You have to find someplace darker. You scramble into your closet and shut the door. Yes, you think, I found a place that's completely dark. No light is getting in here from any source. You can just barely see your hand if you hold it in front of your face. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? You notice a crack under the door where light from outside is getting in. You still don't have the evidence you need. You still cannot prove whether or not you need light to see. So what has this text taught us so far about light? So it's teaching us about light and many different types of light sources. And it's also trying to answer the question if you can see in the dark. So far, we still don't have the evidence we need, but we can see that even in dark places under our bed, we still see a little light coming in. So let's see if the author finds a place that's completely dark. A few days later, you go on a field trip to a cave. The tour guide leads you into the cave. It is dark in here, really dark. Deep in the cave, there is no light from the sun. This may be the perfect place to test whether you can see in the dark. The tour guide is talking about how caves are formed, but you are wondering how dark the cave could get. You finally get a chance to ask. The tour guide says, I'll show you. I'm going to turn off the lights for a minute. She turns off the lights and everything is black. You look around for sources of light, but you do not see any. In fact, you cannot see anything at all. Just to be sure, you wait and wait, but you never see anything. A smile crosses your face. None of your classmates can see the smile, even though they are standing right in front of you. Still, you know that smile is there because you can feel it. You finally have the evidence you need. You have found a place that is completely dark. There is no light from any source. It is completely dark and you cannot see in the dark. If you can see anything, it is because of light. You need light to see. Okay, so what is the author's point of view on this topic? And how do you know that? Yes, I agree. The author thinks that in order for us to see, we need a light source. And the author was also able to determine with evidence that if you go into a space that is completely dark, meaning there is no light, you can't see anything. We need light to see. This book taught us all about how light sources are everywhere and they really help us to see. Even when we're not thinking about it, there's probably many light sources around us. And when we explore places in our world, there's very few places that have no light at all and that are completely dark. Now let's try and complete this handout to summarize what we learned today about light and light sources. The first one says, all light comes from, and you're going to check the right answer. All light comes from sound sources, the sun, or light sources. On the second one, you're going to circle all the options that are light sources. The movie screen, deep inside a cave, stars in the sky, car headlights, street light, or speakers. Again, circle all the options that are light sources. For the third one, we're going to try and make a cause and effect statement, thinking about a light source from the book we just read together, or from your home. If I think of a light source from my home, I could say light comes from the table lamp So the paper looks bright. Good luck. Have fun with it. And if you have any questions, remember you can always ask your teacher for help.
I'm so happy we got to explore different light sources today and enjoy that awesome read aloud. Thank you so much for giving me your time today, and I'm so excited to continue learning about this topic the next time we meet.